Hey, morning guys, I'm the Tech Prepper. So first, this will be a firearm video. So anybody who's not interested in that topic, please feel free to drop off right now. There'll be other content that's non-firearm related coming up in the future. But I do feel like I had to make this. So we have a lot of friends who are purchasing firearms for the first time. And as a relatively new gun owner myself, I've only owned firearms for the last 5 or 6 years. I made some mistakes very early on, so I want to share with you my personal experiences and my personal take on 3 things I wish I had done sooner. Again, this is my list based on my experience. I am not an expert. I do have some training and some certification, but this is by no means me telling you what to do. This is something that worked well for me, or did not work well, actually. So the first thing I did when I purchased my first firearm, I went ahead and bought some ammunition, and it came in the case from the manufacturer like this. I went to a outdoor range, a public range, and it was fine for dropping the case on the bench, safely operating the pistol, and then once we were done with our range session, putting it back into the case and going on with our day. Now, the problem with this was a short time later, we started going out into the desert, which is legal here in Arizona, and we decided to basically take our gear out, and I did have to walk my pistol from the back of the truck to where we were shooting, and I did carry it in my hand. It was pointed in a safe direction, but I personally did not feel comfortable, and you shouldn't either in my opinion, walking around with a pistol in your hand. So item number 1 of the 3 things I think new gunners should look at is getting a holster. Specifically, the features I think you need to look for are 1, retention, and 2, something that fully covers the trigger guard so that nothing can get into the trigger. My second mistake was this is the first holster I ever bought, and it doesn't have the right features in my opinion for safety. So I spent sub $20, and that again was a problem. You do need to spend a little bit more, in my opinion, to get a proper holster that works for you and is safe and secure. This one, as you can see, is not terribly rigid. It does have some protection for the trigger guard. So let's go ahead and take my carry pistol out. I did clear it beforehand. So there's nothing in the chamber. Magazine has been removed. And the one problem I have here is that there's very little retention. If I go ahead and just easily move this out, there is the possibility that in the wrong orientation, the pistol could slip out. It does cover the trigger guard fully, which is good to see. But again, cheaped out a bit here. It worked. It was better than carrying it in my hand, but not the greatest holster in my opinion. Okay. So I moved on to this holster here. I can't remember who made this one. What I did like about this one is that it was a bit more comfortable, especially when going to the range. This is an outside the waistband holster. It is made of plastic, and it does have retention here. So what I do like about this holster in particular, you should hear an audible click, right? So I am pulling on this thing and it's not coming out. So the proper way to disengage with training is, as you get a good purchase, you press the button and the pistol comes straight out. So feature I do like is the fact that there's retention here, and that it does fully cover the trigger guard. The problem I had with this holster is that it is a bit bulky and it sets off quite a bit. So for outside the waistband carry, it's fine, but I was also trying to use it as a concealment holster, and it was too far off body, and I would actually print quite a bit, which means as I was wearing a shirt, you would see the silhouette of a bulky item, which clearly looked like a firearm on my side, and I did not want to advertise that I was carrying a gun. This was a little bit more expensive. I think it was about maybe $35. It also had the ability to adjust the ride or the height of the belts, since there are various size belts on the market. So that was an improvement. Ultimately, what I landed on, and I've been using now, since the introduction of the Glock 43, is this Kydex inside the waistband holster. It is from a company called Tulster. They're, I think, an American-made company, and they do semi-customs. And what I like about this one is that it does not have the same active retention here, but it does have retention where it does have an audible click when you insert the pistol, and properly protects the trigger guard, and it allows me to carry it concealed. So let's go ahead, and you can actually hear, again, audible click, good retention, but there's no mechanism to defeat if you have to pull this out. It just comes straight out. So guys, again, there are leather holsters, there are Kydex holsters, there are plastic holsters, inside the waistband, outside the waistband holsters, various different types of ways to carry. But bottom line is, if you can and you're a new gun owner, consider spending a little bit of money, do your research, and find a holster that works for you. Let's talk about belts, and this is an often overlooked area. If you are going to carry concealed or outside the waistband, you need a good belt. So this is just a typical men's leather belt. It is a dress belt, and it's not terribly rigid. You can actually see I can manipulate it pretty easily. So the problem with the belt like this is that it does not properly secure a holster. There are companies on the market that are geared to be a little bit more fashion forward. I don't have any experience with those. I believe there's a company, I want to say Kors, but I could be getting that wrong. I'll put a correction in the middle of the screen. So do your research, but this type of belt is not real great for properly securing a firearm to your body. I had recently gone down the path of creating a tech prepper belt for the channel through a company called Grip 6, and they had a couple of different belts. This is their work belt, which is supposed to be their most rigid one, and while this is better, it is not a carry belt whatsoever. It is made out of nylon. It's pretty durable, but again, lots of play here, very thin on the side here. So at least for this holster here, you can see how thick the clip is here. When you have this guy on there, it's very easy to grab your pistol and the whole holster to come out with it, which is not great if you have to use it in a personal defense situation. You can see there's a lot of play and gap right here. So sorry, Grip 6. I'm still going to wear your stuff, but I will not carry a pistol when wearing your belt. Which means I probably won't be wearing your belt, actually. All right. So what have I landed on? All right. So I have the luxury of working from home, and I've had that luxury for the last 10 years or so. My preferred belt are these belts from 511. This is a rigger's belt. Fairly rigid construction. You can see this one is pretty beat up. I do enjoy it quite a bit. It properly secures the pistol to my hip, and there has been no issues drawing from it and having the holster get removed. If I'm going to the range, or if I'm going to be open carrying, my preferred belt is a larger belt. I think this is from High Speed Gear, and it is quite a bit thicker. This is 1.75 inches, made of very heavy-duty nylon, and this belt is used when I carry my full-sized pistol because it is quite a bit heavier. I believe it's 36 ounces. I will tell you one feature I do love about this belt is that it has the Cobra Buckle, so it basically, let's do this. You have to basically take off the buckle to loop it through your belt, but once it's in there, all you have to do is disconnect the front. So I don't have to take off The holster, I don't have to really disengage like the whole buckle system. It's still very secure, and these 2 points are still secured around my belt buckles. So I've got a friend in the family who actually says it's a great poop belt because all you have to do is disconnect. So it's a little tactical looking, but since I carry inside the waistband, people can't see this, and if I'm going to carry outside the waistband, I'm typically going to the range or hiking in the desert. All right, number 3, last on the list. Again, first time I went to Cabela, I only purchased the firearm and some ammo, came back a bit later, and I realized that I needed to clean and maintain my firearm since it is a tool. And I think I spent maybe $15 to $20 on this case. I remember when I was talking to the sales guy, he's like, oh, so maybe you should go with something that works with multiple calibers. I'm like, why would I need another gun? I just need my first gun. Well, like any new gun owner, you will likely go ahead and pick up some guns in the future. So making an investment in something that goes from like 380 or 9mm all the way up to 45 and even shotgun might be appropriate. Oh, that's a good smell. I love the smell of gun oil. So I would invest in this and learn how to maintain your firearms, because it is a tool and you're going to want them to work. So even if you don't fire them, I do clean my carry pistol very quickly once a week, and it just gives me a bit of peace of mind. Along with that, a few years later, I decided to, when I really got into prepping, to build my own kit. I basically cannibalized a lot of the parts from that bigger kit and put it in this Otis bag, and this is the cleaning kit that I carry with me in my go bag. So I always have the ability wherever I go to clean my firearms. And then my personal preference, whenever we would go to Walmart, my wife would pick up a extra can of CLP. This is lubricant and oil in one, which is nice, and then some patches. And again, you guys do your own research on how to clean your firearm safely, properly, with the right solvents. But that's my number 3. So holsters, belts, and a cleaning kit. All right, guys, there probably won't be too many more videos along this line. I do want to get back to prepping, my solar projects, gardening, all that good stuff. But I did want to make this video for y'all. So hopefully those of you who are not in the firearm community can respect this video. But I wanted to do it for you all. Be strong, be safe, be prepared.